webinar, which is titled Enhancing Skills for Chartered Accountants. And today we are going to be having three of our best fellow accountants who are going to be speakers for the three papers that we are going to have here. Please permit me to start by introducing the chairman of this committee, who is right with us here, Mr. Dafo Matthias, FCA. He's the chairman of the Employment Facilitation Committee. We also have in our midst the vice chairman of the committee, Mr. Abiodun Adedeji, FCA, who is also a member of the governing council. So we have other members of the committee in our midst, too many roles to mention because of our time. Then I am Alhaji Shakiru Balogun, FCA, Deputy Director, Membership Affairs. I have in here with me my team members, Mr. Adams Monike, Assistant Director, Membership Affairs. Then we also have the desk officer for the Employment Facilitation Committee, Mrs. Tokunbo Adejumo, the Senior Manager. Then we have our technical IT consultant within membership, Mrs. Funmi Victoria Adewale. So those are my team members here at the ICAN studio for this webinar. So without wasting our time, we are going to commence this webinar with an opening remarks from no other person than the chairman of the Employment Facilitation Committee, Mr. Matthias J. Dafo, FCA. Mr. Chairman, sir, you can unmute and give us your opening remarks.
Thank you, Mr. Balogun. Good morning, professional colleagues, and welcome to this timely and informative webinar on enhancing skills for chartered accountants. My name, as Mr. Balogun has said, is Matthias Dafo. I'm the chairman of the Employment Facilitation Committee. As chartered accountants, we play a critical role in driving business growth, ensuring financial transparency, and upholding the highest standards of professional excellence. However, the rapidly evolving business landscape, driven by technology and advancements and changing regulatory requirements, demands that we continually update our skills and knowledge to remain relevant and effective. Today's webinar is designed to address three critical areas that are essential for chartered accountants to excel in their roles. Our expert speakers today will delve into the importance of proficiency in Microsoft Office tools, data analysis and analytics using SQL, and the implications of AI on our profession. We will also explore the practical aspects of filing annual returns of companies, a very critical compliance requirement for businesses. Over the next 3 hours, we will engage in insightful discussions, explore real-world examples, and gain practical tips and strategies to enhance our skills and knowledge. I encourage you all to participate actively, ask questions, and share your experiences with our speakers and fellow participants. Before we begin, I would like to express my gratitude to our speakers, Mr. Brown, Mr. David Brown, FCA, Mr. Lawrence Amadi, FCA, and Mr. Femi J. Shime, FCA, for sharing their expertise with us today. I also appreciate the efforts of our subcommittee 2 on the Employment Facilitation Committee, who took the effort to arrange this webinar of today. I also appreciate the technical team for making this webinar possible. Without further ado, let us commence our webinar. I now hand over to Mr. Balogun, who will moderate our session for today. Thank you very much.
Thank you, our chairman, for that beautiful welcome address. So like I said, today is a Friday. We have to keep to time and we have to move on. And thank God we have all our three facilitators here. We have on ground Mr. David Brown, FCA, Mr. Lawrence Amadi, FCA, and Mr. Femi Jaisimi, FCA. So in line with our timetable for this webinar, we are going to start with presentation 1, titled Proficiency in MS Office Tools for Reporting and Presentation. So this paper is to be taken by one of us, a fellow of the Institute, Mr. David Brown, FCA. But before he goes into the paper, to go into a brief of his profile. So Mr. David Brown is the chairman of ICAN Data and IT Faculty and a managing partner with the Brown Consulting. David has been building data-driven solutions with Excel for almost 30 years. He has also trained over 50,000 people over that time.
I can't hear anything. I don't know if it's me.
I think they have challenge over the internet issue. So they're back now.
A consultant with the World Bank and a master trainer and master instructional designer with the Association of Talent Development, a learning and development master with the Learning and Development Network International, and honorary treasurer of the Nigeria Beatty Chamber of Commerce, and more. At the Brown Consulting, he recently developed the Financial Modeling Academy, and in collaboration with the Financial Modeling Institute Canada, launched a special Africa scholarship scheme with the goal to develop and accredit 1 million financial analysts out of Africa in the next 5 years. So distinguished ladies and gentlemen, I want to welcome Mr. David Brown, FCA, managing partner with the Brown Consulting, to take his first presentation on proficiency in MS Office tools for reporting and presentation. Mr. David Brown, the floor is yours, sir.
Thank you. Can you hear me?
We can hear you, sir.
Okay, for some reason my camera is not working. I don't know why. Maybe it doesn't like everyone to see me for some reason. I don't know why my camera is discriminating on me like this.
Would have loved to.
Okay, let me try again. Let me try another camera. Okay, let's see if this works. Okay. Okay, so let's try again. Well, at least you can hear me. That's good.
We can hear you.
Now we can see you.
You can see me now. Okay, good. It's always good to have backup. And that's something everybody should learn. You need to have backup on backup. How many internet access do we have? Who is on the audience? You can type. How many different internet connections do you have? You have your phone and you have a backup. Type in the chat. Let me see. Are we allowed to chat? Are people allowed to chat? Not sure. Okay, maybe not. All right, so let me share my screen. Let's see, sound, right. So I don't know if anybody that knows when I present, I like to give giveaway. So I'll give a giveaway at the end. So listen attentively. And so let's begin. Let me see. I would like to see faces. Can't see faces, unfortunately. Okay. All right. So you can hear me. Let me just move on. Thanks everybody for joining. So we're going to talk about proficiency in MS Office tools for reporting and presentations. Right. Quite a lot of us don't know lots of Office tools. There's so many, but we don't know them. So I'm going to start off with, I want you to participate, answer questions. Okay. So, but let me just give a summary of what I'm going to talk about. So I'm going to talk about what are the MS Office apps, really? What are they? Do we know them? How to become, I'm going to pick the one that you like the most, which I know is Excel. I'm not going to teach you best tips, tricks, and stuff. You can watch all of that on video. So I'm going to give you more a framework, right? I'm going to give you a framework of how to work in Excel. I call it the Maestro framework, right? Maestro means master. So I'm going to give you how to work with it, not, oh, what is VLOOKUP, what is XLOOKUP. I'm not going to talk about that. Then I'm going to give you a demo. I'm going to show you a demo of an actual job I did with a client where you see some presentation sins you shouldn't do, presentation sins. I'll talk about how to prepare data. And part of presentation sins, I'm also going to take you through some very important ways of presenting data, especially, we're accountants, so presenting numbers, right? I'll take one small aspect of it and talk about how do you label your data properly, right? And then I'm going to talk about, P is just a demo, and then I'm going to talk about how to 10x your productivity. Stop starting with blank Excel, blank Word. Let things do the work for you. And then we talk about AI in Office. In MS Office, there's artificial intelligence. How do you leverage it? And then I have that gift I said at the end. But to make this interactive, I want you guys to scan this, and you're going to be answering questions, right? So I'll have a question up. Scan this or go to pollev.com, and then the room is D Brown. You don't put any email or anything. Just go straight in. You can put your name, but don't put any personal information, right? And go straight in. So we're going to talk about the first question I have. Let me put that up. The first question I have is, what is the first question? Okay, let's see. Let me get that up. So go in there and answer some questions. I have some questions up already. All right, so let me put that up so we can see. So I asked a simple question. I'm asking what single word comes to mind when you hear Microsoft Office? What word comes to mind, right, when you hear Microsoft Office? I want you to answer that question. How do you answer it? You basically, see some people are just saying Excel. So you go to Poll, you take your phone out, scan this QR code and answer, or go to pollev.com /D Brown. Let me see if I can put that online for you. Pollev. So I'm going to ask many questions towards the end. And even if you have questions for me, you're going to ask it through this poll, right? So please answer and let me see your answers. So for those that, don't register, make sure you skip. So when they ask you register, don't register, just skip your registration. You don't need to register, just want you to answer the question. All right. So let us see the answers. The answers are popping up. Word, spreadsheets, automation, PowerPoint, Excel seems to be very large. You can see lots of people just thinking Excel comes to mind, right? Okay, very interesting. So keep on answering. Okay, interesting. So I guess Excel is the winner, right? It says Excel, Word, productivity, excellence, communications. I just want everyone to register so we can, at least I can see how many people are on, right? That's good. Plenty more words coming up. Keep it going, keep it going. Okay, so we're 500 in here. Let me put the link as well. Let's say host and panelist. Let me see. Oh, okay, we can't share links. Okay, I'll just. All right. So I think I'll pause for this. So Excel and Word, and that's what I thought when I was planning for this. Excel is big, Word. I think the next one after that is PowerPoint. So people think of Excel, think of Word, and think of PowerPoint, which is fine. I know we're accountants, right? So I think that's good enough, right? So if you look at the screen right now, you see that there are so many Microsoft Office apps. In fact, they now call it not Microsoft Office. It's now called Microsoft 365. They don't call it Office anymore. They changed the name. So Microsoft Outlook, OneDrive, Word, Excel, PowerPoint, So if you see what I asked what word comes to mind. I cannot see any. All I see is Excel, Word, Outlook. What else do I see? So you can imagine, most of you don't even know that these things exist. But let me check. What kind of Microsoft tool are you actually using? Let me see. Let me ask. What Microsoft tool are you using? Let me go and ask you another question. So, what Microsoft Office tool do you use currently? All right. Do you use subscription? Now, be careful here. Is it subscription based, which is Office 365, or is it that standalone 2010, 2013, 2019 that you actually bought? I know you don't use cracked version, no cracked version. So you actually bought, right? So, or do you use Office on the web? Do you use Office on the web? Or you don't even use Office at all, which to me seems impossible. But anyway, some people use Google, right? So people use Google Sheets, Google Docs, and all those things, right? Okay, which is fine. So Office 365, 54%. Wow, this is very high. I didn't think this was going to be that high. Subscription based, that's Microsoft Office 365. Okay, standalone, Microsoft Office 2010, 2013, 2019, 2020, there's 2020, 2023, there's even 2024. Now, one thing you have to understand is this. Your standalone office that you have is not connected to the internet. There's a lot of things you won't be able to do on that standalone office. There are quite a lot of new functions in Excel, for example, that won't really work in those standalone. They only work in Office 365. So Office 365 is the latest. That's the latest version. And that latest version gets updated every single month. In fact, for those 56% of you, you can actually go through and join the beta program. What's the beta program? The beta program where you can see what's coming in Office, and you can be one of those experimenters. They'll give you early access to new things in Excel, new things in Word, new things in PowerPoint. So I'm very impressed that a large proportion of you are on Office 365. Let me give you an early gift. Now, this is a very tricky gift. If you buy a new computer, right, and let's say you haven't installed Office, let me show you how to get a original version of Office 365 from Microsoft for free. Do you like that? For free. This is from Microsoft. So funny enough, there's many combinations you're going to do. I'll do it on my keyboard. You're going to hold Control Shift Windows key and let me see if I remember. Control Shift Windows key and is it Alt key? Control Shift Windows key and Enter. Let me see if that's the shortcut. Control key, Shift key, Windows key, Alt key, and Enter. Is it? I'll share the link to it later, but there's a way to get a free version. And in fact, if you type Office on the web, Google it, Office on the web, you get it for free, but it will be on the web, but still Office. So interesting, we all have very updated versions of Office, which is good. That's very good. So what I'm going to share with you later, I'm going to give you these slides. I'm going to give you all the learning pages from Microsoft for all the Office tools, the major Office tools. Excel, so when you click it, you'll be able to go and do all their lessons for free. Microsoft Word, everything you need to learn, everything you need to learn PowerPoint, everything you need to learn Outlook, everything you need to learn in Microsoft Teams, everything you need to learn in Access. We don't really use Access that much. SharePoint, Microsoft Viva. Viva is very, very powerful. It has learnings and it kind of analyzes how you're doing in Excel. It tells you all the things you're doing and all the learnings that you need, and basically tells how many times you worked, how many hours are you working, where do you spend most of your time, all those things. OneNote everything. OneNote is a very beautiful tool. OneNote, if you take a notepad to a meeting, That's what OneNote does. It replaces that your notepad. Very powerful. Many people don't use it. Planner is excellent. Planner is you like project management. You want to do project management, you have Planner. So a lot of you have all of this. 56, is it 50? Most 60% of you, and you don't know you have it. Planner, you'll be productive. Microsoft Forms, that's so wonderful. Anytime you want to capture data, you want to capture data in a structured way, use Microsoft Forms. Because at the end of the day, in fact, I can do a demo right now with data. Let's say I want to capture data. In fact, that will probably be my demo. I'm going to capture data from all of you here. And then without your emails, you don't need your emails, as in capture data, and then you see the effect of that data directly. And then you see a database of that data in Excel, which you can connect to that data and do automatic reports. And as people are filling that your form, your report is updating automatically. Right? So that is the essence of working with these tools. Microsoft Stream, this is where you do all your videos, you edit all your videos in Microsoft Stream. OneDrive, that's where you save your data. Whiteboard, I never use Whiteboard actually. It's a whiteboarding tool for meetings. So we're having a meeting now, we can whiteboard, everybody can be whiteboarding together and putting sticky notes on the screen. Seems useful. I use Mural, another one. Then Microsoft Loop, this one is, I think, the most powerful. This will probably replace a lot of things you do in Excel, Microsoft Loop. So it's like you create a collaborative framework, right? Where you're all working together. You're all working together and it's growing. You take the loop. Loop is like, you can say, hey, create a table and say, hey, everybody, let's enter things into this table. Enter it. Now you can send an email with that loop. Someone can open their email and be working through Outlook with you that's working through Teams, with another person that's working from the web, all working together. Loop, to me, is very powerful. You can build some wonderful tools with it. Design, there's this designer tool that kind of shows you how to design presentations and stuff like that. And there's the to-do tool. To-do works with Planner. Very powerful. Gives you your to-do list every day and stuff like that. And then you have the Microsoft 365 Copilot. This one will teach you how to, in fact, this will even teach you, let me click it. If I click this, let me see if it opens up. Let me click it. So if you look at it, this is Microsoft 365 Copilot. Now, even if you don't have Copilot, because Copilot is quite expensive in Microsoft, just come and watch all of these wonderful videos to teach you about AI, right? It teaches you, okay, how does Microsoft Copilot work with all of this, your Microsoft Office apps, Outlook, Word, PowerPoint. In fact, let me open a PowerPoint. Let me pretend I'm sending an email. So let me open an email and let's see how that works. So I'm going to do a new email. Okay, let me see. So I'm just going to do a new email. Immediately you open to do a new email, right? You first see draft with Copilot. This is right there. If I open Microsoft Word, let me open a Word document. The first thing you will see is, hey, you want Copilot's assistant. So just take Copilot as AI. It's Microsoft's AI, and it's pretty intelligent, right? So this is Word. When you open Word, you see Copilot icon at the top right. This is your personal assistant that knows everything about everything. Write an article based on a file. Click it. It will go and, if you have a report that you've done in Excel or you have some document, point that document to it and to write an article for you. Create a plan. So let's see, create a plan for what? What should we create a plan for? Let's think. Okay, I want to create a plan for my financial reporting, my IFRS conversion. Okay, let's create a plan for IFRS 17 conversion from IFRS 4, which is what we used in our insurance company. I've given this guy work. Right, let's create a plan. Let us see what it does, right? So create a plan. This is my prompt. So gone are the days when you're using Excel. You're now entering Excel and thinking what formula. No, you don't need all of that. Just ask your assistant, what is the formula I should use? And I'll give you another secret. If you don't want to use Copilot, you can actually use your other AI tools that are free. Copy, paste there, and just work with AI every day. That's my tip for you. The way of using Microsoft tools is the past way. Don't forget the past way. You don't need to go and learn X, lookup, V, lookup. No, you need to know a framework for how we use data. And that's what I'm going to share with you next, the Maestro framework. Once you understand the framework of understanding your problem, then you know what to use, which tool to use, how to ask questions, right? I'll come there, but let's give this guy a jam question. Let us see what it does. I'm so interested in actually seeing what this guy does. So while he's doing his computation, let's go back to our presentation, right? It's writing, and we'll come back and see what it does. Now, right, so these are your office tools. You're going to get this link and you'll be able to click every one of this and go and learn. If you want to learn all of this, probably take you a year, right? So that's why I'm not going to go technical with you. Right, these are more tools, insights also. There are plenty apps. Just take advantage of them. In fact, there's another one that's the add-ins. So if this is not enough for you, there's add-ins as well, where you can go and add other things. You can connect your QuickBooks to Excel. So what's the point of you leaving Excel and going to QuickBooks? You can bring an add-in and bring QuickBooks into Excel and log in from Excel and be working from Excel with QuickBooks. So much you can do. That's just add-ins. All right, let's move on. So, okay, this was just intro. This is my slides. These are all the things I've done. Right now, I'm the chairman of ICAN Data and IT faculty. If you are not in ICAN Data and IT faculty, you know you can choose 2 faculties. Join us. Marketing for ICAN Data and IT. Okay, these are all the things I've done. Courses, students, blah, blah, blah. This is the big project that I'm working with the Financial Modeling Institute on. You get that. Now, let's go into this framework for working with Excel. So Excel, I've been using Excel for what? 28 years or something like that. I've been using Excel for a very, 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 very long time. Now, what I want to show you is how to think about problems. When you have a problem that you want to solve, a reporting problem, a presentation problem that has data, you need to use Excel to solve it. This is the first thought process should be, what exactly is this problem? Can I explain this problem to a 5-year-old? Can I describe it? And what you should do, forget going to Excel. Describe your problem to yourself. Clearly state it. Then once you do, I'm going to show you a framework to identify what you need to be able to solve that problem. All right? So let's have a look. Let me get this slide up. Okay, great. So what do I mean by framework? Oh, my audio is very low. Okay, so maybe I am not connected properly. So is my audio better? Someone should speak. Can you hear me, Clara? Because I'm actually connected properly.
I can hear you now, sir.
Oh, okay, can hear me now.
Okay.
All right, super. Okay, so what are we saying? Here, the first part of the Maestro framework is mechanization, which I also call automation. When you have a problem, mostly I see this as the biggest problem because this mechanization should happen. Every single thing you're doing in Excel, you should automate it. In fact, I have this saying, right? There is nothing you're doing in Excel that should take you more than 10 minutes. Nothing should take you more than 10 minutes. And when I give you the gift at the end, you're going to go through a course where you're going to automate a report from scratch. And as the data updates, your dashboard updates automatically. You build that yourself from scratch in Excel, okay? So I'll give you the gift at the end. Now, when I say mechanize, it means, okay, the problem I see is that I keep on doing this report every week. I download the trial balance, I do whatever it is, and then I pull out management accounts. You don't need to do that. Right? You can automate it. You can, download it, but you automate the process. That means you have a mechanization problem. We want to minimize manual tasks. You want to automate and improve your efficiency, right? How do you use to automate? Microsoft, you can use Office Script, you can use Power Automate, you can use Power Query. You can even use the add-ins to Excel, or even Excel on its own to automate, which is what you do in the gift I'll give you at the end. All right, so that is mechanize. A is to acquire. What does acquire mean? That means the problem you have is with acquiring data, gathering data. You were supposed to do a budget for your organization, and there are 10 departments. Email, back and forth, email to get the data. You now download the data, and then you now start doing some manipulations. That's the wrong way to go. You're not acquiring data correctly. First thing you should do probably is create a template. Create a template, a structured template. Put data validations in that template. Send to all your departments, but put it on SharePoint. Put that template on SharePoint or on OneDrive where everybody can see. As they're entering the data there, and what you will do as an accountant, connect to that folder where all those templates are. Connect to it and do your Power Query to automate the consolidation of that template, right? Automate the consolidation, automate the reporting from that template. summary. Once you've done that, you have zero work to do. The only work you need to do is keep on calling them in meetings. Hey, you haven't filled it. You haven't filled it. I have filled it. Say, look, Oga, I can see this thing right now on my screen. It shows that you only filled 3 lines. Can you finish filling it? So all you should be doing is kind of begging your departments to complete filling that template because your report is ready already, right? And you're in a meeting, you see that, oh, the finance department made a mistake. How can your total budget be 250 million when something must be wrong? Oh, sorry, I made a mistake. Okay, correct it. The moment that person corrects it, you refresh your report and it's ready. Not, oh, we see in another meeting. So you have a problem of acquiring data. Gather and connect to the data from different sources. And there's so many ways to do this. How you can gather, automate data. Plenty ways. My best way is Power Query. Power Query, if you learned nothing from this, go and master Power Query. Power Query will connect to your folder, take all that data, clean it up, put it in a proper structure, automate your reports. That's Power Query. In fact, you can automate reconciliation with Power Query. You get your bank statement, you have your cash flow, your books from your books cash flow, whatever from your books account, and you automate the reconciliation, right? So acquiring data is usually a big problem. How do you connect to the data? Excel can connect to more than 200 data sources. Can connect to SQL, can connect to Oracle, can connect to anything, SAP, everything. So take advantage. Next thing is it's an evaluation problem. What do we mean? So when is an evaluation problem means that the problem you've identified, you've identified a problem of performing analytic tasks, descriptive, diagnostic, predictive analytics to gain insights and drive decisions. This often involves statistical analysis and the rest. So that is the specific problem you've identified. Now, if that is a statistical thing, there is a tool in Excel. I don't know why they hid it. There's a data analysis tool in Excel. In fact, let me see if I can open it to show you. Let me go to Excel. Okay. All right. So this is Excel. Now, on data, if you look at my data tab, you will see the thing I'm talking about because for some reason they've hidden it. So I will need to go to File Options, Excel Options, right? Under Excel Options, right, I will need to go to Add-ins. See these add-ins. When you go to add-ins, Excel Options, you just go File Options, Add-ins. You go to Excel Add-ins. If I click Go, you will see something called Analysis Toolpack. And then there's Analysis Toolpack VBA, which is the analysis in macros VBA. You don't really, if you don't, you can leave it there. And then you have Solver. Forget this Euro currency. Solver is for optimization, and I'll come to that. So these two, this one's, you know, I don't know, when people are doing statistical analysis research, they usually go and use, is this Strata or something? They use, that is Strata, this is your analysis toolpack. Click OK. And what happens, it now adds those tools. It's an add-in, right? But it's part of Excel. It adds those tools to the end. So you see I'm on the data tab. Can you see the end? Data analysis. If you click on data analysis, this is your ANOVA table, your descriptive statistics, your exponential smoothing, your F-test, your Fourier analysis, histogram, moving average, T-tests, Z-tests, everything about statistical and research analysis is there. Why do they hide it? I have no idea, right? That's Excel. So you saw how you can get that, right? So once you identify your problem is an evaluation problem, there's some statistical analysis needed, make sure you have analysis toolpack in. Solver, I'll come to that. So that is your MAE of Maestro. It is not about your tools, it's about understanding your problem and selecting the tool to solve it, right? So mechanize, acquire, evaluate, what else? You can secure. What does secure mean? That means the problem you probably have is security. There seems to be loss of data. There seems to be sensitive information going out. Then you need to know what you need to do in Excel or Office or wherever Office to stop that happening. So you need to protect and govern access to workbooks, worksheets, or specific cells even in those worksheets, right? Control them, lock what you need to lock, put passwords and all of those kind of stuff. Make sure something is on SharePoint, understand how you can share your data. Are you sharing for view only? Are you sharing for edit rights and stuff? How are you going to collaborate with the document? What are the rules for putting the document so everybody can work on the document together? How do you protect? How do you do version history and version control? That is secure. So that's, you have identified as a security issue you have. Now, T is for transform. You've also identified, oh, this problem I have is actually because I always download the data, and before I can bring it into Excel, I want to clean it. I'll use VLOOKUP, I'll use all sorts of formulas, I'll use pivot table to cover it, and it takes me like 4 hours every week to transform this data in a way, and I do that every Thursday. Why do you need to do that? Automate your transformation process. How do you automate? I'm sure you already know the tool I like. I call it every time, Power Query. Power Query will automate. Let me show you this Power Query tool, because this is super powerful. Now, in your modern Excel, I think if you guys use 365, you have it. If you're using in 2013 is when they invented this in Excel, 2013, Excel 2013. It's been there since 2013 as the most powerful thing as far as I'm concerned. So under data, you see get data, you see queries and connections. This whole section is Power Query. This allows you to connect to all sorts of data. I can even connect to the web. I can see data on the internet that I need to do in my report. I connect to that data. And when the person updates it on the internet, it will update on my spreadsheet, right? I mean, there's so many things you could do to automate data. How are we collecting data? How are we collecting data on, let's say, in fact, if I type Lagos State, let me just type Lagos, Abuja. Let me just say, okay, Lagos or your Kano, all right? Okay. I'm just giving you a sample when it comes to data collection. Now, these are states, yes? And then let me say, what do I want to know about this? What's their population or something, right? Just give you an example, yeah? Okay, now, these are states. Give me some more states. Let me see, Kebbi, let me see, Plateau. Did I spell that right? That's too difficult. Anyway, let me say Kaduna. Okay, so now you can go and look for the population online, or you could decide that look, there's a new tool in Excel, right, for data collection, where if you go to data, you see data types. You convert these lines to a geography data type. See geography? Once you do that, this is called a rich data type. A rich data type. What does that mean? That means this data is now connecting to the internet. It knows that Lagos, can you see it added state? Lagos is a state. And I can come here and select this button here, and you see all of these are attributes of Lagos. Let's see if we got leader right. Who's the leader in Lagos? Babajide Sanwo-Olu. He doesn't know Kaduna State's leader, which is unfortunate for it. Doesn't seem to know. Yeah, but this is the internet, right? This is correct. Femi Hamzat. Wait a minute, Femi Hamzat is the deputy governor of Lagos. Why are you putting that? Anyway, leaders, that means there are more than one leader. Everything is leader. I just want one value. Let me say population. Where is population? See population? So this is the population of Lagos. As far as this is concerned, I double click and this is all the population. Guess what? This is automatically updated from the internet. I can pick many more things. These are all the things I can pick: capital, major city, country, region, description. I don't know, description will only give me Lagos State is in the southwest of Nigeria. It has something, whatever, right? I mean, I come here, double click. So you see that this is data collection, right? I can put stock market. I can highlight a list of stocks, and then I come to stock market and give me the current price, whatever price and stuff. When they were doing this, I remember, I think they came to Nigeria. Unfortunately, we didn't give them access to all of this data for some reason. So it has stock exchange prices in New York or whatever, but not Nigeria, which is unfortunate. Now, so what can you do with this? Because this is now a geography attribute, you can click here and I can insert a beautiful chart. I can come to insert and then go to maps, right? And click a map chart. And because it knows its geography, it's going to give you the map of Nigeria and the data there, isn't it? And this can be part of your report or your dashboard, all Excel, right? So it is important you identify the problem you have. Is it a problem of transformation? I get the data, I need to clean it and stuff. And how do I clean it? You need to follow the 7 golden rules. I'll give you that when I send you the slides, right? So let's move on. Right. Now, refine. R is refine. Is the problem a refining issue? Is that the problem you have? What do we mean by refine? You're going beyond your evaluation. You're building a tool. So for example, you're building a financial modeling tool. Financial modeling, you're refining to the very fine line, right? So you need to understand optimization, resources, calculation, performance. For example, optimization. Let's assume you are an analyst, right? And you're doing logistics, you work in logistics, and you want to understand how are we going to, maybe we're a transportation service, we have 10 buses, 20 buses. How do you deploy those buses to pick children? Maybe you're picking children every morning. Should you leave 2 in Aja, Or should one be packed in Ikeja, another one, so that you minimize? What are we trying to do? We're trying to minimize the amount of cost, the amount of money you spend. That's, yeah, in logistics, right? It is the cheapest possible for the best service. Excel can do that. You put all your parameters down and you do an optimization. You solve the problem by saying your objective is to reduce cost based on these constraints. Constraints, you can't travel more than 200 kilometers a day. You can't do this, you can't do that, you can't do. Do you get? Put all those constraints, build it, solve it with the solver tool. You remember when I added new tools, analysis toolpack solver? That's what solver does. But understand your problem first. So you need to refine a tool. You need to build a model. There are rules for building models. I'll share that with you. So we're almost done with the Maestro framework. The remaining last thing is O. Who can guess O? I know you don't have access to chat. What do you think O is? What haven't we talked about? So think about it. Think in your head, what's O? What's O? What should O be? Right? I know we don't have chat yet. Tell me. One big thing is presentations. You know, our whole thing is about reporting and presentations, right? Output, thank you. See, output, thank you. Present your findings clearly. And this is where we fail a lot. So I'm going to spend a little bit of time on presentations. You have to present your findings. Can we go and check what that thing did, right? You know, we asked it to do a report. Let me go and check what kind of report it wrote. Let's see. Okay, we asked it. This is what it wrote. IFRS 17 conversion plan from IFRS 4. Introduction. The plan outlines the steps and actions required to successfully convert from IFRS 4 to IFRS 17, ensuring compliance with new standards and optimizing our, okay, interesting. Now, I can converse with the AI. Do you get? I can come in here and we can talk. I can ask it, oh, no, I don't think this, I don't think that, I don't think this. I need to continue to update until we're happy. So everybody in the world now has a personal assistant. Why should you go and be doing the old things in Word, Excel, PowerPoint, and stuff? Everything I've done here in Word, I can do it in Excel, I can do it in PowerPoint, I can do it in Outlook. Do you get? Look at it, establishing steering committee, project manager, gap analysis. This looks cool, man. Implementation. So any project you're working on, right? Just do this. And if you can't afford Copilot, just get your free ChatGPT, Gemini, all those things, and use it. I see that people just don't use it. To me, this is excellent. And please, please don't just send this to your manager. Refine it. Keep on talking to the AI, changing things, all right? So that's how you use your office tools. Okay. I know time is going. Let me do a time check. How much time do I have left, please?
You have 12 more minutes, sir.
12 more minutes. Wow, I'm going to rush. Okay, so this is your Maestro framework. Take a picture, I'll send this to you. Remember, it's not about the tools, it's about you understanding the problem you're trying to solve and choosing the right tool. And when you choose the right tool, let's say Excel, you still need to understand the structure. So that's your Maestro framework. Now, let me go into presentations. I'm going to use tables. When you're presenting, you have tables, you have charts. So this is an ROI sales analysis report, return on investment sales analysis report. This is a very, very critical report for financial controllers, right? You want to understand the resources you have, the financing that you have. Where should we use this financing? Let's assume a supermarket and stuff like that. Should I put it into this product, that product? How do you know the product you're supposed to put your financing into? What is giving you the best return, right? So receivables, which one has more receivables or payables and stuff. So you need to be careful with how you deploy financing. So I was working with this Russian client, and so it's a bit in Russian. And they said, oh, this is the report they use. This is the report they use. These are the various assets they have. This is the sales the asset has. Then these are basically the results, contribution, cost and contribution. And then you have your financing. This is how they finance it, bank financing. What is the contribution to bank financing? Balance sheet data, stock, receivables, payables. What's the profit? Eventually, they'll calculate ROI. What has the highest ROI? Now, something can have a high ROI, but it'd be useless for you to use it because it's had high ROI, but only 20 naira. It's only 15 naira it brings. Another thing has a reasonable ROI and brings 1 million. So you have to also understand the quantity. You have to understand the actual quantity itself, how much of your total profit is coming from this asset, right? So don't say, oh, I'm only going to do ROI above 50, above 30%. What about that one that is 28% that brings the most money? So there are lots you should think about. But I want you to think, what is the problem with this visual? What are the things you see that is wrong with this visual? Think about it. There's a lot wrong with this visual. And I know many of us like colors. Colors are, you should be very sparing in your use of colors. So now let's go through transformation. First thing I did, let's reduce the digits to a maximum of 5. Look at this. See the digits. What do we need to know? 7,993,239. Why? This is for decision making. So look at it. I just said 7.99. Here, 7.99, 6.0. That's all. In your report, you say, hey, reports in millions. You don't need that detailed number, right? So that's the first thing we did. So we put in millions. Now look at percentages. I also changed the percentages to what are those values under net current assets. If you look at net current assets, what value is there? Well, we can fix that too, right? And then look at the second to the last column. What is 9.8? 9.8 is a multiple. Put an X there, just an X. Just an X there is a multiple, right? Now, look at that bottom bit. This bottom bit, all this story is saying is, we have a small note, cost of finance is 20%. No stories. And then we can put better totals. Yeah? See, we put the better totals. Now I've just increased the font size. See, I just increased the font size. That's all. Makes it even clearer. Same space, right? Then look at this. I've removed some of those fill color. Why are we filling those cells? For what? Fill it out. We remove that. What next? Well, this is a very subtle change, but it's very important. So if you see what I did with the headings, what I did with the headings, when it comes to table design, I want you guys to write this down. Go and read the International Business Communication Standards. Go and read about them. Go and download their methodology. International Business Communication Standards. Those are the standards I'm using here. So when you can look at it very carefully, you can see that I have put a gap between each section, right? So your eyes will now know that they are separate sections, not all joined together like this. You put a gap, I remove all those things, and then you see that in between the major sections, there's a smaller gap. The gap itself is a smaller size, all right? Right? And then you can see that at the bottom, there are some places that don't have values. Why don't they have values? Put it there, don't leave anything empty. So put those values there, can you see that? Then look at the biggest change. See the color, everything, color. Wipe out the color, you don't need color. Color should be, in presentations, color should make sense. So right now, I've removed all the color except for what I am trying to highlight. Now you can see the issues. You can see this is negative, this is negative, this is negative. You can see they are coming out because I've eliminated on bad use of color. There's another subtle problem here. Look at this. First of all, I've kind of changed the heading, shortened it. Just shortened it to make it look nice. But then if you look at this, I don't know if you notice this problem. If you look at my results, I go from left to right, then my final result is on the right. Financing, from left to right, final result on the right. Profitability, left to right, final result on the right. But balance sheet is right to left. Why? I don't know, maybe, and that's one thing I don't like about us accountants. Huh? You know, when we do our P&L, we usually put the latest year on the left. Time goes from left to right, not right to left. So if you know what I mean, you have your P&L or POL, I like calling it P&L, POL, then you have 2025, 2024, 2023. No, it's supposed to be 2023, 2024, 2025, like this. Because if you do a chart, imagine you're doing a chart. Is your chart going to go this way? No, I know accountants, we all do that, but I really don't like it. Anyway, so this direction, see, I've changed the direction. From there, I've changed the direction. And then now you have to ask yourself, if you notice at the top left, this is now the heading. Whenever you want to put a heading, you should say who, what, when. Just remember that. Your heading should always be who, what are we talking about, and when. And the what you're talking about is the ROI by product in millions of euros. When? Rolling 12 months for March 2024. Label your reports correctly. Now, what's the next thing? Only focus on important things. If you look at what your manager wanted to know is return on investment. That's the most important thing. And then you put those headings. So now it's sales contribution, this is that. And see, I've eliminated a lot of space. So look at what we had before. And then another last thing I did here is sorting. So since the most important thing is return on investment, sort the entire report by return on investment. Now this, you can make better decisions with this. Look at what we had before. This is what we had before. This is what we have now, right? And you can put a message at the top. We had contribution margin of this, put a message. So this is proper reporting with your data, and this is the way to present it properly. These are the proper number presentations. So I had one other thing I was going to do, but I'm not going to do it, unfortunately. I'll leave you with this, how to build three-statement model. This is a template for how you build three-statement models. And remember, this is more refining. When you remember our Maestro framework, you want to refine stuff, you need to learn how to build models. Build a model, structure itself, get it, and restructure your historical financials, pull out your historical financials, restructure it, then build your drivers. What drives every assumption? You understand those drivers of your assumptions, then build out your computation sheet. So all your schedules for every line item of your balance sheet, you have the schedule, and then you basically build out your computation sheet, you build your profit and loss, all your profit and loss lines using the drivers, then complete your year one balance sheet and your cash flow statement, and then replicate all those calculations for the number of years you want to build. And then plug in deliberate circularities. You can check online what circularity means. So this is your structure for building, all right? That's your typical structure. Now, I told you that everything you want to learn, the technical stuff, is under Office Resources. Once you get these slides, you'll be able to click on all of these links, and then it will take you to the training online. Let me go to Planner. If I go to Planner now, click, you'll get all of this. You'll be able to go online, and then you'll be able to see Planner, right? So yeah, I can click this and you can watch what video, what they're talking about. I know, let me play. So welcome to a new Planner. Okay, let's see what's it talking about. Anyway, this is their marketing video from Microsoft. Anyway, but if you scroll down, you will see all the different trainings you could do. Get started with new Planner. In fact, let me say one very important thing. When you open a Word document, Excel document, whatever document, please, this is what you should do first. Go to File, go to New. File, New. When you go to New, you have thousands of templates for free. Don't start with a blank sheet. So let's assume I want to do a report. I want to do something about a report. Type report and enter. File, New. I type what I want. Then it brings out all sorts of wonderful templates on reports. See Metro report. Oh, I like this report. Oh, this one seems good. Proposal and marketing plan. Click and create, right? So you now create, and then it creates a new Word document with your proposal and marketing plan for free. Why should you start from blank, right? There are so many templates in Excel, so many PowerPoint, all sorts. Never start from blank. And then please, if you have issues, just go online. But firstly, get your AI working. AI is your friend. You need to use it as your personal assistant. So you get all these tools. Now your gift. So I end with the gift. So I'm giving you this training, report automation in modern Excel for free. I didn't know we're going to have about 500 people here because I have 300 free tokens, 300. So if you go online to Office Training Hub, look for report automation in modern Excel. Put this code, ICAN-ngr Excel. ICAN-ngr Excel. So when you go there, pretend as if you want to pay these dollars, not the Naira one. Don't click the Naira, click the dollars one. Go there, pretend you want to pay, and then put the coupon code. Forget this one here. It's March, ICAN-ngr Excel. Once you put in the coupon and apply, it will be 0, and then you get it for free. This will teach you how to build a beautiful dashboard from scratch, automated fully, full reporting on a reporting tool from scratch, right? So you'll be able to do, I don't know if I have it here. Yeah, so this is the course. Let me see if I have a quick video for it. Yeah, so this would be what you should be able to build at the end.
And that's your report. So once you click OK, drag and mess it up.
So just teaching how to do the dashboard, right?
So this is monitoring. You don't need to have this open. Your users don't need to see this. So you hide this.
So this is absolutely free for you guys that decided to come in. And yeah, anyway, I don't know why it's done. But anyway, you build it yourself. And at the end of the day, fully automated reports
Since it's
to
not
be automating on
you see everything is good. And this has been automated as well. So all in one single, everything works. Yeah, everything works perfectly. And this is your dashboard report. And you could print Control P and see Control P is, and you see how the exercise file, we've done it a little bit different. We made it portrait view so that.
Okay, so that's fine. So you can get that. Let me remind you of the password or the coupon code. Sorry, I only had 300. I didn't think you guys were going to be so many. So first 300, ICAN-ngr Excel for free. All right. And with that, I am done. I hope you enjoyed the session. And yes, so please, you can send me Twitter, what's it called, LinkedIn, and other things if you want to follow me and need anything from me. It's fine. I'm happy to support. Always happy to support. So thanks a lot for joining me on this presentation. I'll leave my details for you. You could join me on YouTube, my YouTube channel, the LinkedIn, Twitter, send me chats, and thank you very much, everybody. Over to you.
Wow, wow, wow. Mr. David Brown has been able to do it again. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, he has been able to open our eyes on the topic for today, proficiency in MS Office 2. As an accountant, I've learned the following today. I've known how to get free version on MS Office tools. I've learned something about the Maestro framework. He has equally taught us how to build a three-statement model from the scratch. And I've equally learned that when you're having the heading for any of your work, there must be the who, the what, and the when. So distinguished ladies and gentlemen, I think Mr. David Brown has done justice to this topic. So from the timetable of our program, the next thing we need to do is just to do questions and answers. So you have access to the question and answer part of the webinar. So I have some 5 questions here. If you still have more questions to ask, you can put it there. So Mr. David Brown, I'm going to be reading out the questions that we have here so that you provide the answers.
No problem, I'm here.
Okay, thank you, sir. So the first question I have here is from Mubarak Kasina. It goes thus: what are the key advantages of using Microsoft Excel in Microsoft 365 for financial reporting? What are the key advantages of using Microsoft Excel in Microsoft 365 for financial reporting? That question is from Mubarak Hassan. The second question from Odushola Adebayo. Can we have a practical approach on how the Power Query works? Can we have a practical approach on how the Power Query works? Then somebody is asking for the soft copy of the paper. I want to say that we are going to send the soft copy of all the papers to all participants who have registered for this webinar. We are going to use the email that you have there when you are doing the registration. Then the next question says, please, sir, from an anonymous attendee, kindly go over how you came about the IFRS 17 and for implementation analysis. So, Mr. David Brown, those are the questions we have for now. So you can do the response, sir. The floor is yours, sir.
Okay, so thank you. I was just typing out the questions. Right, I know we have other speakers. I don't want to take too much time, which is why I decided, you know what, I'm not going to show you technical things in this presentation. I will give you free training. So the free training I'm going to give you, that I've already given you, has that Power Query step by step. Now, for those that are not able to get that free training, you can still go to Office Training Hub, go to Excel. There's a free training already there for Excel, but it doesn't go deep as this one I've given you. So that will give you an idea about Power Query and the rest. Just know that it's a magic tool. Huh? It's a very magic tool, but if I go into showing you practically, it's going to waste a lot of time. It's there. I mean, if you Google Power Query, you see so many videos, right? But I can tell you, no accountant, all accountants should be experts in Power Query. It will save you months. Let me put it there in a year. It will save you months of time. All right. So trust me, just do it. Do the free course. Benefits of using Microsoft 365. Well, Microsoft 365 is the latest version of Excel, right? So all the latest new things that they bring out is in Microsoft 365. So okay, let me see if I can show you something. Okay, let me just show you something very quickly. All right, tell me if you can see my screen, please. Can you see my screen?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so let me, if I do a random number generator between 100 and 300, right? So I do a random number generator between 100 and 300, and I drag it down all the way down, lots of down. Okay, good. So now, for some reason, this is my customers or something. Right. So if this is my customers, you know, it's random, so it's going to be changing a lot. And someone says, please, can we see how many? I want to know the unique. You know, these are 530 rows. I want to say, okay, of these 530 rows, right? How many? What are the number of unique data there? Now, somebody will say, it's easy now. I'll just copy it. My old Excel. I'll copy it. I'll paste. Let me do paste special values here. Then I come to data, and then I do remove duplicates, right? And then I say remove duplicates. I say, okay, it tells me, 344 duplicate values are found. I removed 186. This is your old way of doing it, manual approach. Because guess what? See, my data has changed, so this is useless, right? So if you have Microsoft 365 and you now have access to that new function called unique, right? What is the unique function? Unique simply goes to data, right? And automatically identifies the unique values, right? If I close my bracket and enter, this is now dynamic. This will automatically update. If I do a count, right? If I do a count of this unique, now look at this count. I want to do a count of this. It's an array. You saw it just spilled. I want to do a count of this. I have to put a hash. This is a new way of working in Excel. Once you have an array, instead of highlighting it, you put a hash after the first array function. Now I close my bracket. So the number of unique items is 189, but my data is changing. So when I change my data, you can see my unique is updating automatically, isn't it? You get it? So Microsoft 365 gives you access to all the new features, all the new tools, and then access to a lot of, you have your Office 365 on the web, but the most important thing is access to all the new wonderful tools that are available to only Microsoft 365 users, and all the updates happen. If you want to know what version you're in, if you go to accounts, let me just go to accounts. So when you come to accounts, if you look here, you will see version 2502. What does this mean? This is the year 2025, February 2025. That's the version I have. So check your own. You need to always update. See this update option? You need to always update. Many people forget to update, or your IT only updates maybe every 6 months. And sometimes they forget. Make sure you don't forget, update. And you get the latest stuff. You can see what's new. You can say get add-ins, update channel. I can check what's all the new things about it. What's new? There's nothing new because I've just updated already. So that's it. That's the reason. What other questions? Can they go over how you come about IFRS 17? I didn't come about it. I just asked my AI. So in fact, I can ask AI. So you just ask AI, talk to AI. That's all I did. I went to Word. Let me go to Word. I went to a Word document, right? And under the Word document, click a new Word document. Because I have my Copilot, I'll see these features because I'm using Microsoft 365. I just type my question here. Now, if you don't have that, then you could also just use maybe ChatGPT. So when you use ChatGPT, you will see that if I click, let me see if you can hear this. I'm on my phone right now. I'm going to ask ChatGPT. Hopefully it will work. Hi, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you loud and clear. How can I help today?
All right, so I'm trying to do a report on IFRS 17. IFRS 17, and you know, I'm an insurance company. I work for an insurance company. They use IFRS 4. I want you to give me a detailed plan on how to convert from IFRS 4 to IFRS 17.
Sure. Transitioning from IFRS 4 to IFRS 17 involves several key steps. 1. Gap analysis. Compare current IFRS 4 practices with IFRS 17 requirements to identify changes needed.
He's going to continue talking, so I'm just going to pause. So it would have given me my full report, and then that I cannot copy that and take it to Word. All right. So even if you can't afford a Copilot, there's plenty free. There's Gemini, there's Cloud, there's many free AI tools out there. I was just talking to mine, right? So I hope that answers your questions. I'll give you guys access to all the resources and stuff. But yeah, so that's that. Thank you. Back to you guys at ICAN.
Thank you very much, Mr. David Brown. You have done more than enough justice to this topic. So distinguished ladies and gentlemen, we are going to send all the papers to you. We are going to have the soft copies, and we are going to send them to your email address, the one you have put when you are registering for this webinar. So we are trying to keep to time. So definitely we are now going to move on to the second presentation. The second presentation is titled Data Analysis and Analytics, SQL and Implication of AI. The resource person that is going to do justice to this paper is one of our own, a fellow of the Institute, Mr. Lawrence Amadi. He is the head Technical Risk Network for KPMG Africa. Mr. Lawrence Amadi, FCA, is currently a partner within the advisory division of KPMG Lagos office with over 22 years technology consulting experience. He heads the Technical Risk Network for KPMG Africa and has actively delivered technology-related projects in over 16 countries within Africa and EMA region. He serves various clients, predominantly within the technology, media, and telecoms, TMT, and financial services industry. He holds a first-class degree in accounting from University of Lagos, Global Executive MBA from IE Business School in Spain, and has also obtained the CGMA/ACMA designation. He is a multiple recipient of ICAN awards at various stages of ICAN professional exams. He is a Chelsea Football Club supporter and enjoys watching and playing football. So distinguished ladies and gentlemen, I want to hand over the microphone or the stage to Mr. Lawrence Amadi to take us on the topic data analysis and analytics, SQL, and the implications of AI. Mr. Lawrence Amadi, FCA, you are welcome, sir.
Thank you very much, sir, for the citation. Thank you for having me. And it was my former Oga that just finished presenting, Mr. David Brown. So it's a good thing that both Anderson and KPMG are contributing to the body of knowledge for ICAN. Please confirm you can hear me, and you can also see my video.
Clearly, sir. Clearly.
Thank you so very
much. Your voice is very audible.
Okay, thank you. I really appreciate that. I will get started now. I'm just going to try and get my slides up. For those that are going to see multiple Lawrence Amadis on the call, these are my colleagues who are also joining me today. They will just help enrich the additional use cases that we're going to have in today's session. So that's why you're going to see multiple versions of me on this call today. I think before I get started, just to confirm which of my colleagues are here, you know, because everybody is me, I need to now know who exactly I have in the room. So please do a quick intro so that I know who's in the room with us. If you're from KPMG.
Good morning.
Morning.
Good morning. This is Olawale.
Wale Adigun.
Yes.
Okay. All right. Nosa is here. Okay. So Nosa.
Good morning.
Morning. All right. Okay. So help me pull up my slides. so that I can get started. No, there's still audio. There's audio. Maria, there's audio. I think Nosa is just pulling up the slides now. Nosa, please confirm you can share.
Just 30 seconds.
Okay, all right. Okay, so while we are all waiting to get started, by a show of hands, I'd like to know how many people are comfortable with SQL in the room. Let me see thumbs up. Thumbs up is fine. Let me just see some reactions. If you're comfortable with SQL, if you have used SQL before, let me see the hands. I've been told that this group is a very, very dynamic young group. All right, now so we can go to slideshow, please. Okay, somebody is surprised. I can see a surprise emoji. Somebody saying, "Oh wow, I didn't know that out of these 500 plus participants, there are enough SQL people." No, sir, we can go to the full screen mode. Okay. I think it's still showing your regular full screen. All right, thank you. Okay, no, so we're seeing your headshots and not the PowerPoint. Do you want me to share? Or okay, it's coming back up. All right, thank you very much. Okay, so let's get right into it. I think we'll just talk about what we're covering today. You've heard the topic being introduced. I just want to say thank you, sir, for that introduction. We're talking about data analytics with SQL and leveraging AI for advanced analytics. And everything Mr. David Brown has covered today, which is you utilizing, Microsoft productivity tools, especially Excel, advanced Excel toolkits. This is no different, from what you've gone through. It's just no different. And you essentially are moving from being able to manipulate data on the utilities to being able to then go back end and also now do a lot more with report extraction, reporting, and the likes. So very quickly, I'll just get into the next slide to talk about the outline. So I have a few colleagues of mine who are joining today, like I mentioned earlier, and they'll be helping with a few more examples, a few more use cases. We'll have the introduction. We'll talk about SQL fundamentals, AI utilization in SQL. We'll share one or two case studies, and then we'll take questions. We have been told our session is about it's about 30 minutes. Olabisi, I see your comments. I'm not going to assume everybody is comfortable. So that's why we have a team that will sit try and break down the basics for you. So the comments, I see them, and I think we would take note of it as we progress. So let's get right into the introduction. So with you today, I have three other colleagues of mine. I have Nosa Omori, who's the manager in the team. I have Wale Adigun, who is one of our experienced analysts, and I have Fiyinfoluwa Olateju, who is also an analyst in the team. On the next slide, we will just touch on what are the objectives. Why are we here? What are we trying to get out of this session? So one, at the end of the session, we want people to have at least taken out some understanding of the concept of data analytics and why it is important. exploring the benefits of using SQL, structured query language. Benefits of using SQL. Understand the fundamental concepts of SQL, how we can leverage basic AI. And I'm sure you all heard Mr. David Brown just show us, the interactive chat GPT. At the last ICAN induction, I was there to talk about, accounting GPT and how you can ask it all the basic questions. It can do payback period for you. It can do, NPV. It can do compounding interest. You can ask it any question, just feed it in. You can type the question, you can speak the question, and it gives you all the solutions, seamlessly. Interactive sessions to understand the usability of SQL. So these are some of the key things that we will be taking out today. Now, are you going to become masters of SQL at the end of this session? The answer is no. For those that already have SQL basics, you can build on the things that you know. But for those that don't, this helps you to just get some basic knowledge of SQL and how you can start trying out SQL on your systems. So I think it's important that, you can get your hands started. So on the next slide, we start getting into some of the basic introduction, and what are the basic things that we utilize data analytics for. Today, every single facet. In the past, you probably used to hear, oh, analytics, you need it for the more mature sectors like telecoms, banking, ISPs, consumer markets, complex areas. But every single facet of life today is utilizing data analytics. If you go to schools, they have analytics for, students, just basic demographic information. If you go to census, you're taking data, analytics is applying there. But more importantly, it's crucial that we're leveraging analytics, to help us excel with compliance, helps us with scalability and decision making, handling large data sets especially, helps us with automation. In fact, if there is no cloud connectivity and just you cannot have data analytics. If you don't have all the requisite maturity required, you can struggle to have analytics. So you need to have cloud, you need to have the computing device, and you need to have internet connectivity to be able to then mine data to help you drive automation. If you want to get real-time insights on business, on making decisions, this becomes very important. At ICAN, one of the subcommittees in ICAN is the IT subcommittee. And when we sat with this subcommittee once to just talk about how are we even growing the numbers, how are we getting Gen Zs to sign up, you find that the social media part of ICAN, they're leveraging YouTube Live, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, and even TikTok. And they're beginning to get footprints and just getting data on who is commenting on ICAN TikTok. And it will shock you that the data is growing enormously every single day. So you can start having real-time insights the minute you plug into these platforms. And then finally, in just ensuring that we have effective data analytics, you also need to have the right integration. Today, APIs is a major part of businesses. And that's why telecoms, banking, insurance, fintechs, everybody's connected seamlessly because APIs are here. And what are APIs? APIs are application programming interfaces that allows you connect seamlessly. You can have business to business, business to consumer, consumer to business, you know, essentially everybody's just able to exchange data via APIs. And when you do that, you share a portion of your environment on the premise that those other people also share a portion of their environment. So very crucial that they're able to do that and exchange data, in a seamless manner. What are the advantages or the edge that SQL gives you as a business, as a person? You know, today we can do a lot of data aggregation. We can do a lot of, data simulations and the likes. But what are the other advantages SQL can give you? SQL is built to handle way larger data sets. You can handle way larger data sets. Data can run into terabytes. You can write a simple SQL script and you pull terabytes of data. That is so crucial. So data volume handling is major. Secondly, you can have multi-user collaboration. So you can have people come together and they're all scripting to pull data from a database, and it will allow you to do that seamlessly. It also helps you to drive the enforcement of data integrity and security. Every single syntax in SQL must make sense. If it doesn't make any sense, you don't get any results. Basically, garbage in, it's not even a case of garbage out. It doesn't give you anything because your syntax has to make sense. Automation and efficiency is also another area. And I must tell you that even though Excel, Power Query, and the likes, they've all been enhanced to doing some of these things. In future, you start seeing a lot more aggregation in the features. So they start all getting to a converged point. SQL is super fast, super quick, whilst combing through a large database. And that database does not have to be a structured database. It can be unstructured, but it can go there to pull data in a structured manner and give you fields and columns in a very efficient manner. And lastly, it helps you take querying to a whole new level. You can run advanced querying on SQL seamlessly. So the question is, what does SQL mean to those of us that have never used SQL before? What does SQL mean? What can it do? What is SQL? I'm happy to get one or two comments in the commentary. What does SQL mean to you that is different from what you're currently seeing? And in what new ways are you applying SQL? Can I see the comments coming? Okay. I guess some people are still typing. So while those comments are coming in, I just want to mention very quickly that with structured query language, which is a very powerful and versatile tool, you are able to pull data, including retrieving important financial data, pulling reports, helping management to make quick decisions. And I'm sure you all know the various decisions in your ICAN. Remember those ICAN exams: make or buy decision, acquire or divest decisions, sell or buy, decisions. Those decisions that you were studying in management accounting and in strategic financial management, SQL can help you make those decisions way quicker. You might be using Finacle, FlexCube, SAP, Oracle Fusion, Oracle EBS. All those large systems, in their environments, you can basically go and use SQL scripts to pull data. And that data set will tell you what is going on in the business. how many customers signed up in our business, in our portal? How many customers went to use the app, the banking app, to make transactions? How many customers used the app to make transactions higher than 200,000 naira in the month? How many customers used USSD to query and check their balance? All these things that I'm mentioning, a simple SQL script can go and pull all those examples, so that way you can know which of these channels is important for us. Which channel are we using the most? Which one should we continue to fuel? In the past, there used to be telephone banking where customers call in, but today it might not be the most commonly used because self-service is being made seamless. So that's why customers can easily go and query their accounts themselves or use the app and make transfers. And that's why fewer people are walking into bank branches, which means for the bank, if they keep seeing fewer and fewer and fewer people, they can shut down some branches, because there's no point in keeping those branches. You're paying security, you're paying tellers, you're running generator, burning diesel. If everybody is using the channels, you find that there's a need to have lesser branches. Let me ask us, which bank do we think has the most customers today in Nigeria? Can I see some comments? Which bank has the most customers today? Can I see one or two quick reactions? OPay, First Bank, GTB, First Bank, PalmPay, Access. Ladies and gentlemen, the banks with the biggest customer today, I think the first one on the top of the list, having the most active customers per month, is MoneyPoint. How many branches do they have? So it just tells you that times have moved, because we have the legacy banks, but those legacy banks, they are grappling with competition today. And I'm saying this because, if you run your analytics on a regular basis, it will tell you that you need to do things a bit differently. That is why you need to be vested in analytics. If you run this regularly, and on the top 5, OPay features. So all those are typed OPay, you're right. But Access Bank is also up there. Access Bank is there because, Diamond Yellow, when they came together, and then, the customer base is big. So Access Bank is up there in the top 5. So it just means that the way businesses are going today and the way we are tracking performance, operations, fraud, trend analysis, those things are all changing. So as chartered accountants, you have to be vested. You have to be vested in how you can mine data, vested in how you can pull data. And these are all the benefits. Because if you are kidding, there's no reason why you should have an ERP and you cannot see problems before those problems arise. I'll give you an example. You are paying against a purchase order. Purchase order for a contract is about, 10 million naira. And you are making payment and you are paying 15 or 20 or 30 million over a purchase order that is 10 million. That's the deficient internal control that the system should flag for you. But you can run a simple script to say, on SQL, and say, can we see purchase orders where the amount, invoice amount, is higher than the purchase order value? Can we see instances where the goods received notes is higher than the purchase order? Can we see examples where we will match the 3-way purchase order, invoice, GRN, or payment? You can even do payment. where they're higher than the PO. If you find instances, then something is wrong with the system. That means the GRC in that system, which is governance, risk, and compliance, or the internal controls on the system are not working well. So it's not enough to then use SQL to find that issue. But what that SQL report to then do for you is it will help you then start thinking about the decision making better, to say, look, we need to define controls that ensure we don't have this sort of anomaly on our systems. On the next slide, I'll just talk about some basic commands. What are the basic commands? Those commands are like verbs, you know. And what are verbs? Verbs we're taught are what? Action words. So those action words are things that help you do. That is what SQL is all about. SQL is all about making you take actions. And that is why it's a very compelling tool. The most commonly used one is select. And you saw from what D. Brown did for us before he finished. He gave us some basic commands, and you can go and select. So select is probably the most commonly used query, where you can actually just say, look, okay, I'm in this huge data environment. I need to know something. Select. It is the mother of all the commands. So the minute you select, you can immediately then start doing the other things. You can sum, you can group, you can order by, ascending, descending, you can join data, join tables, and you can also say where, you know, give me the location. So these are the common query languages that you have within SQL. But remember, the most important one is your selection. Very, very crucial. Okay. Time is fast spent. I need to move very quickly. The next page is just a screen showing us an example of a simple select, query that's been run. So you can select account number, branch code, transaction date, and you're trying to, investigate where you have seen an unusually large cash withdrawal. Remember, when you go to the ATM, most times you're trying to withdraw maybe urgent 2K to either maybe tip a security guy or pay for something. Urgent 2K. You might need 20K or 30K or 40K if you're going to a wedding and you want to go and spray some money at the wedding. But when you start withdrawing 600,000 naira at the ATM, major flag. And when you are running a query as a bank control person, and you're seeing withdrawals and they're running into millions, it should be a flag. They see one debit card visiting multiple ATMs and just making withdrawals everywhere. It is a major flag. So you want to very quickly say, look, can we find out what is going on? Can we find out very quickly what is going on so that there is no instance or issue where we are running into a problem? So you select account number, branch code, transaction date, customer, you just want to be sure that this is not an anomaly. This is not a card that has been misplaced, or they've given somebody a card. You know how older parents can give you a card and say, go and do a transaction. And then you now carry the card and say, they might not see the alerts. So let me go to town. And then you just be going everywhere and just withdrawing money, and today is Friday. And you say, look, let me go and do TGIF with my boys or with my girls. And then you go to town and start withdrawing. Simple queries can help pull and just check the behavior or the behavior pattern of what is going on with that anomaly. That's an example. But there are so many examples. Today we are seeing a lot of fraud in the banking sector between the switch providers and the banks. So you can also go into the core banking and say, look, let us understand this. Extract or select settlement between us and these banks. And you can go and see if there's a particular trend, say every day you do 10 billion naira transaction, and the trend starts showing you 16 billion, 18 billion, and is abnormal. That trend, you can actually try and say, look, filter for me transactions that or settlements that are beyond, 20 million per customer, per retail customer. You can deep dive, okay? And it brings out examples for you. All right, we're going to move very quickly. There are so many other examples and utilization in SQL, but I think I would certainly now welcome my colleagues to take us through one or two very quickly so that you can also get a feel of the environment. But before they do, let me just tell you very quickly that if you go to the search button on your laptop and you type command CMD, just do CMD, it will bring out command prompt for you. If you click on that command prompt, you can also go there and do some basic select and some basic querying on your laptops. I'm sure everybody on this call has a laptop. If you go to the search and type the short word CMD, which is short word for command, it brings out the command environment on your system. And you can also go there and try and, go and select and play with different data extractions and things on your system. But I'll hand over to my colleagues now to quickly get us into one or two more practical environments. And then if there are other questions, we will take those questions. So yes, my colleagues are sharing the screen and they'll just tell us the environment where they're in, the examples that they want you to. Is SQLite, and I think it's just them trying to just show you one or two basic things. And you can use these examples to build on the other things that you can do for your respective work environments. Thank you. Musa, please go on. You're muted. You're muted.
Apology.
Okay. Yeah, please go. Sure.
Okay, my name is Nosa Omoru. So I just quickly take you through some practical section of how to use SQL for the experts and just watch. For others, I will send a link to you. My colleague will send a link to the chat. So we'll be going to SQLite online. This is an online database just for practice. So for most of us, we have ERP in our organizations, maybe like SAP or Dynamics. They all rise on database. So someone asks, what is a database?
I'm sorry, guys. Can we hear me? I think Nosa is having some network issues. But can we hear me?
We can hear you. You can go ahead, madam.
All right. Thank you. My name is Feinfoluwa, and I will be taking over the practical session of this training. So like Nosa earlier said, there's a link that has been dropped in the chat aspect of this meeting. So we can click on the link just so that we can all practice this together. I'll be sharing my screen. Can we see my screen?
Yes, yes, they can see your screen.
Okay. All right.
Yes, we'll carry on.
Okay, so on this page, if we look towards where my cursor is, the tables, we have a database called ERPDB. And I know that because we're all
Hi,
accounting. Yeah,
sorry.
hi.
I think I am trying to, or I have been sending the link to the chat, but it seems people are not seeing it. Can anyone confirm? Because I just sent it again. I've sent it like 5 times.
It's only the admin that can send links to people.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, so
Okay.
the links, so a lot of them can see it. Some can't. But for those that cannot see the link, they should please go to the chat room to go and just go and have a look. What I will also do is I would go to the question Q&A section and see if I can put the link there.
Yeah, so only hosts and panelists. We can only send hosts and panelists. So someone from ICAN, please, could you please post it to everybody if you can do that?
Please send the link. So I will push it to others.
Yeah.
Yes, so the link is already here in the chat. So Wale has posted it a few times, although you see my name against it. So Wale has posted that link about multiple times now. I've also posted it myself. Abosede, I just typed it in and I can see your chat. I'm surprised that you guys can't see the link. The link is called SQLite Online.
We can see it now. So
yes. All right. So please, guys, just click on the link. Click on the link. Some people can see it. A lot of people can see it. So please, Finn, please carry on.
Okay, so once we open up the link, we are going to see an ERPDB. So because this is an online version of the SQLite software, we can only create live databases and all. So I would need you to click on the run button, this run button, so that the tables that we're going to be using for this practical session will show on the left side, like it's showing on my system. You have your customers table, your products table, your transactions table. So because we're accounting students, we tailored our practice to.
Okay, thank you, Penny. Let me take over. Can
All
you?
right, Musa.
Okay, my network is okay now. Okay, so what we did, I think, can we all log in now to this environment? Your environment might be showing a black screen, but for you to change it to a bright screen like this, just go to this part. You see settings. So under settings, if you scroll down, you will see skin. So you change this skin, you change it to silver. That's to show a bright screen like mine. So you can just change this skin silver, you change it to silver. So we have a sample database which we've created. So if for yours now, your environment now, you see where we have ERPDB. So you just click on run. When I like presently now, this sample system now has a blank tables. Someone say, what is a table? A table is just like a sheet in an Excel worksheet. One Excel worksheet can be likened to a database. So now I just want to create some sample tables now with data. So if you click on run here, you see ERPDB now. If you click on run, what this run does is that it just creates some sample tables. So if you see on my left now, I have 3 tables here now. 3 tables: 1, customer, product, and transactions. So what we just did just to create a sample tables of what you have in let's say in a default accounting system. You always have a product table, you will always have a customer table, you will always have a transaction table. So we have these three tables now. This is just a sample. So I want this session to be practical. So I want all of us to just do what I just did now. When you run this particular script now, what this script does is just a create script. Okay, there are four major statements in SQL. One is a create, one is select, one is update, and one is delete. For majority of us, the only one we'll be using is select. That's the one I'm going to dwell on today. But I just use select and insert here. What we did here, that we use select and insert we use create and insert statement here to create these three tables you can see here, and also insert some statements into some data into this database. But in real life environment, we don't have to do this. They will just only give you as a select right. Select right is okay, you can only pull things out of this database. So now I've been able to create three tables now in my database. So I want to play with them now with select statements. So we're going to look at select statements, okay? So I will run the first, I'll see, now let me run the first script now. I'm saying select all from customer. Okay, for those of you who want to see my face, let me put on my video. But I think my network is a bit shaky, that's why I off my video. So permit me to put it off again if the network is acting funny. So I'm going to go to select all from customer table. I have a table called customers. I want to see what is in that table. Now, if I go to run now, so it's going to pull out every column. This all is saying that pull out every column from this table. So a column is just the same way you have your Excel column. And all of them could have a title and header. So these are all the headers from this table now. So we have three tables in this database. You can see on my left, you see a demo table, customer table, product table, and transaction table. These three tables, customer, product, and transaction, were just created today using these scripts here, which any of you can do based on the link we sent earlier. So with this link, you can create these three tables with data. This link have a create statement and use create and insert statements. So what is it? I talked about four major statements in SQL, which is create, insert, we have updates, and also we also have a select too. But we'll not be using those other statements. So we're going to dwell on select statement alone. So now I'm going to run. I just did the select statement now on this customer table, which pulled out all the tables, all the column in this customer table. Now I said I just want just two column alone. I just want only the customer ID. I'm saying I just want customer ID. I don't want everything. I just want customer ID, name, and email. Now, if I run this script now, it will always pull three columns because I'm being specific on the exact column I want. I don't want all the column. I just want these three columns alone. So I'm going to do the same thing too for the other tables now. I come to select. I'm going to select all now from my products table. So we're assuming that this database is more like maybe a supermarket that has products, that has customers, and for every transaction made, the information will go to the transaction table. So I'll pull, sorry. So now I have two statements here. So I have to select one. I think this is the one I want to run. So I'll select it and click run. So when I do this now, it will pull everything on my product table. Now the product ID, name, and category. I can come here and say, okay, please, I don't want everything to the same way I did earlier on. I should just pull the product ID, the name, and the category. Nice. I just want just three column alone. Now I highlight this and I'll run. Now it's pull just three column. Now I'll go to transaction table. Now this transaction table, I will now learn how to use other commands now. Now I want to select all from transaction. So what this transaction table does now, to tell me these are people that made, now it's telling me that people that made transactions, telling me that customer ID 00, customer 0001 made transaction. In database, when designing the database, we don't use the exact name of the customer, just like in banking. You are being recognized by your account number. So we're trying to recognize the customer by just an ID. The same way too, we're recognizing product by just an ID. But if I want to get the details of this customer, who is customer ID 001, I can now come to this customer table and now use a clause. Now with that, what we call a where clause. Presently, we just use select statement just to select, view select all, and we also did select picking some column. But now I want to bring in a where clause. Now this is my customer table. I want to know who is this customer that has this customer 0001, T001. I want to know who is that customer. So I'll come here now. That's okay. Where, I'll say where customer ID. I'm ending the script now. I'll say where customer ID. Now I'll say equals to. Now, okay, this particular fig now is what we call character. If it's just an integer, I can just write this command, but I have to put it to position. So I'll put my cost T001. So what I'm saying now is that please, give me just this customer alone. So what this script did is that it's okay, select these three columns using a where clause for just this, the person that has this customer ID. I want the details of the person that has this customer ID. Now it's telling me customer ID cost 001 is Adewale Yusuf, and this is the email address. Please kindly note that these are just fictitious data. So there is no one really with this information. Yeah, there might be some persons answering this name, but if by hook or by crook, there are some persons with this exact email address. We don't intend to expose anybody's information. So it's just they are just fictitious data. So I've now used a where clause now to get to pull some specific information. I say I don't want all. I don't want earlier on, if I just put this one alone without using the where clause, to give me all the customer in the database. But now I'm saying now I want to put a where clause. Now I just want where the customer ID is at. There the customer ID is cost T001. Now somebody will say, what about if I now want for more than one customer? What do I do? Instead of me using equal to, then I will now use another, put in, and I'll say in brackets. So I can now put more customers. I cannot come here again and say, okay, I want copy. I want for customer 00. Now I say I want also to spoof up two customers. So I'm using, if you see that I'm using the same where clause, but instead of me using equal to, I can only use equal to for just one value. But now I want for two different customers. So I have to use in. I say where customer ID in. So I can put as many customer ID as possible. So if I come now and run this script, it will spoof for me two details of two customers. So this is how we use a where clause. Now I'm going to teach you now how to, on this transaction, let me go to this transaction table now. We can also bring in some functions in this transaction table. Where I can say, okay, I want to know the sum and the count of I can say, I want to know the count of all the old rows in this my transaction table. So I can use a function called count. Let me just pick an amount field. So I'm not doing sum in this case. I want to know the total number of transactions that was made inside this table called transaction. So I'll just come in here and I'll run this. So it's telling me I just have 11 rows here. Now I want another function now. It's okay. From this, I also want the sum of this amount. Now I come in here now. I'll do this. So it's giving me the total count and the total sum. And somebody will not say, okay, but if I want the total count and the total sum that one particular customer did, I might just be interested in one customer alone. Now I'll come in here I'm adding additional column now. So, okay, then I know in this my transaction table, I have a customer ID field. So,
Hello, sir.
okay.
Can you shut down your videos so that I can hear you clearly? Then you have just 5 more minutes.
Okay. Okay. Apology. Okay. Okay, let me be fast with this now. So I'm going to add, let me select. So if I do this now for my transaction table, I want to see all the column in my transaction table. Now I know there's a column called customer ID. So I'll come here and put customer ID here now. Customer ID. But what I want to do now in this case is that I want to know the customers, the count they made, the count of transactions they did, the sum of transactions they did. So I'll now use another function called group by. And that's a group by customer ID. No, in this case, I'm saying, okay, I want to see if for each customer, what is the number of transactions they did and what is the sum of those transactions. So if I come in here now and do this, so it's telling me that customer one did 3 transactions and these are the sum. Customer 2 did 3 transactions and these are the sum. Same thing for customer 5. And some places will say, okay, I don't like the name of this column that is showing here. Why is it showing count amount or sum amount? I can come here and say, okay, use what we call an alias. I'll say, call this particular column, maybe number of a count made. Maybe I can just say count of transaction. I call it count of. Okay, let me just use the word count. So this is what they call an alias. I'm trying to change the name of that column. You can see that it's not called the counts of transaction. I can also change this one too. So maybe sum of transaction. We call it an alias. For this particular function, this particular script I've written, I just only want for customer ID 1. I cannot come and put my where clause here now again. Okay, I want for just customer 1 and 2. I'll bring this my where clause. Bring it down here. If I run this now, so it will now bring for just customer 1 and 2. So I've been able to use a select statement here, use a count, use a sum, use a group by, and also use a where clause. Someone asks, well, where do I use a group by statement? Whenever I'm using a group by statement, I'm ensuring that I'm using most of the time, I'm using a count and a sum. But where I'm basing my criteria on will be this particular column, and that's where I use the group by. Now I want to use the last column because of time's sake. The last function, which is join function. Join, I'm trying to join 2 tables together. If I come to my select statement, this is my transaction table. Now somebody will tell me that I'm just seeing just customer ID. I want to know the name of this person. Now I'm going to come here now. Okay, for this particular table, I want to use a join table. I want to join this transaction table to my customer table. So I'll come here and say, name this my transaction table A. Now I'm joining 2 tables together. I'll now have another table called customers. I'll name this my customers tables B. Now I'm linking 2 tables together. Sorry, B. Because I'm linking 2 tables together, the system is expecting those 2 tables, before you can link 2 tables together, they must have a unique identity. Now, what is unique between those 2 tables is customer ID. I have a customer ID column in transaction field, and I also have a customer ID column too in my customer table. So I'll just come here and say where A dot. A now is my transaction, is that my transaction? I'm using anywhere I see A now is my transaction table. I see where A dot customer ID equals to B dot customer ID. Now, the link I want to do now, so what do I want from this? I want to just pick the column called a.id, a.customer ID, which is from customer table. Then I want the exact name, b.name. So I'm linking two tables together now. That's transaction table and customer table. But inside these two tables, I've said let transaction table be A, let customer table be B. So I'm saying I'm using a where clause to link to find the common role between both of them. So there must be something common between two tables for you to link them together. So what I just did there in this table now, I went to my transaction table to pick my customer ID. And I went to my customer table to pick the exact name. Now, somebody will say, okay, apart from the name, I want other information from this customer table. I can now come here and say, okay, I want email, then b.email. So this email now is being picked from my customer table. So I come in here now, so it's going to add my email to it. So I say, okay, for my transaction table, I want some details from my transaction table. So I want okay, I want some details from my transaction table. Yeah, okay, under my transaction table, let me bring my count and my sum. This count and my sum that I did here now. I can come in here, cover, put it here. Now, it's not becoming complex, right? Now, I would now say group by. I'll show you something I said. If I use group by this customer ID alone, this thing will bring error. If I'm doing a group by, I have to bring in this other column because the group by is saying I'm bringing by this aggregate function, which can be a count or a sum. So either I bring in this three column here now. Okay, let me give time for question because of time's sake. Okay, so I just used the.
Yes.
So what I did here now, I used a join two table, and I used a group by, and I used a where clause. So I pull this customer ID from my transaction table. These two are from my customer table. And so I know the total number of transactions this person has, customer ID one have done, and the sum of those transactions. And I also know the name and email of the customers involved. So because of time's sake, I will round it up here. So what we're trying to do is just to tell you what is possible. That's why with this SQL URL is given to you, you can go back home and practice. We also send the materials to you so you can practice with it. So thank you very much. Any questions, please?
Thank you to Mr. Lawrence Amadi and his team from KPMG. We have actually done justice to the topic for today. We appreciate you. From the Q&A box here, I have just a question because our time is fast spent. The question is from Efe Udoro. And it goes to us, what platform do you recommend for us to learn SQL? What platform do you recommend for us to learn SQL? That's the only question we have there.
Okay. If you are using, it depends on the database you are using. If you are using an SQL database, there is what they call SQL Management Studio. So you connect your SQL Management Studio to SQL database. But if you're using Oracle, there is an Oracle tool which you can use. So what this Management Studio and the Oracle tool does is just a platform like this that you use to connect. So you can only use this SQLite, this one now that I'm using for practice. You can use this one.
Yeah.
We will give you a script you can use to create your database and your tables and insert some statement in it. So you can play with it.
Sure.
And
thank you, Nusa.
Because of
thank
time,
you very much.
Okay. I want to talk about the AI part of it.
Yeah, so it's very tight because I think there's another speaker, Nusa, but they would find the details of the AI element or components in the slide. essentially just saying, as you keep training data, it gets a bit more intelligent. So you can also, get yourself to the realm where you can start having, a lot more cognitive built into this SQL process, and that is where the AI component, starts featuring. So, and the AI tools that we have out there includes UiPath, Automation Anywhere, Power Query. They are all options. Sorry, Power Automate, and they are all tools that you can use to also now start making your SQL, adapt. You also can leverage Chat GPT. Ladies and gentlemen, you can leverage Chat GPT, and you can ask it to also give you SQL prompts, and it will. You can tell it, I need SQL prompts, write an SQL query that can identify overdue invoices, that can identify customers that are defaulting, and ChatGPT will deliver those SQL scripts for you. And you can then copy it and paste it into the environment where you want to work. I'd like to say thank you so much for having us. It's been our pleasure being here. And to also say, a special thank you to ICAN organizers who continue to reach out to us for this sort of support. It's our pleasure anytime. And we hope that every participant here, their SQL and their technology skills will continue to get even better and better by the day, so that we can go and prove to the world that we're not just manual accountants, but we are accountants way sabi. On this note, say thank you so much and have a good weekend.
Thank you to Mr. Lawrence Amadi and the team. I can see a lot of thumb up for you from the participants on this webinar. Thank you very much. Really enjoyed the aspect. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, we are moving on to the last lap of the webinar, the last presentation number 3. This presentation is titled Filing of Annual Returns of Companies, Corporate Affairs Commission and FRS Filing, Anticipating the Implications of Proposed Tax Reform. This paper is to be delivered by no less person than a fellow of the Institute, a member of the Finance and General Purposes Committee of the Institute. After Council, that's the next most important committee in the Institute. So let me go through the profile of the fellow that will deliver the paper. Mr. Femi Jaisimi has over 35 years accounting experience. His professional career started at the firm of Babatunde Olayinka & Co., Chartered Accountants. His portfolio of clients span across various sectors and industries, including private, government, and non-governmental organizations. He left Babatunde Olayinka & Co. and joined Ayodide Thomas & Co. Chartered Accountants, where he rose to become a partner. He later left to form OJC and Associates, formerly Olufemi Jaisimi & Co. Chartered Accountants, where he provided audit assurance, taxation, management consultancy services spanning across various industries, including manufacturing, trading, hospitality, and financial sector. He holds an MBA from Lagos University and is a fellow of the Institute of Chartered Accountants of Nigeria and Chartered Institute of Taxation of Nigeria, and also a member of the Institute of Directors. Currently, he is the managing partner of OJC. He served in various non-executive roles, including Accord Savings and Loans Limited, the Mijo Foundation, ALM Consulting Limited, and member Finance and General Purpose Committee of the Institute of Chartered Accountants of Nigeria and the Small and Medium Practice Advisory Group of IFAC, that is International Federation of Accountants. Femi Jaisimi is a humanitarian and enthusiastic philanthropist who gives his time, resources, and professional help to various religious bodies and non-governmental organizations. He is a Rotarian and a Paul Harris Fellow. He is a member of the Diocese of Lagos West Internal Control Committee and the honorary auditor to 6 Anglican churches, both in and outside Lagos. He has received numerous awards from all levels of society for his services to humanity. He is happily married with children. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, I want to welcome Mr. Femi Jaisimi, FCA, the managing partner of OJC Consulting, to take up the third presentation, filing of annual returns of companies, CAC, and FRS filing, anticipating the implications of proposed tax reform. Mr. Jaisimi, over to you, sir.
Thank you, Alhaji Shakiru Balogun. And good afternoon, professional colleagues. Once again, my name is Femi Jaismi, as rightly said by Mr. Balogun. I'm thrilled to be here today to talk about annual returns filing for companies, CAC and FRS filing, anticipating the implications of the proposed tax reform. Can I be given room to share my slide?
You can do that, sir.
Thank you, sir. Yes, as we gather here, we find ourselves at a pivotal moment for businesses operating in Nigeria. The landscape of annual returns filing with the Corporate Affairs Commission and the Federal Inland Revenue Service is undergoing significant changes, particularly with this, our anticipated tax reform on the horizon. These changes have the potential to reshape our financial and regulatory environment and making it imperative for all stakeholders to stay informed and prepared. So throughout this presentation, we will delve into the current filing requirements, we address common challenges faced by companies, and explore the anticipated impact of the proposed tax reforms. My aim is to provide you with the knowledge and insight necessary to navigate these changes effectively and ensuring compliance and optimizing your company's financial wealth. So we look forward to a productive and enlightening section as we begin the journey into this world of annual returns filing and tax reform. So we'll be looking at the introductory aspect, introduction, various returns for companies, CAC annual returns, FRS annual returns, the proposed tax bill, and the final tips and takeaways. Companies are expected to file some statutory returns, and also specific returns are also expected of us. The statutory general returns are usually from the CAC annual returns, the Federal Inland Revenue returns, the State Internal Revenue returns, and the pension returns. Those are the general returns. But specific returns vary based on the industries. Those in the financial world, they have the CBN returns. Those in the stockbroking and other regulatory something, they have the SEC returns. We have also the PIEs, public interest entity, expecting to file returns at the Federal Financial Reporting Council. We have the immigration services where you have to file your returns. You also have to file your Nigerian Content Development and Monitoring Board returns, the ITF returns, the Nigerian Export Promotion Council returns. Those are specific returns which companies are expected to file. But we only limit ourselves to, we'll focus ourselves today on annual returns for Corporate Affairs Commission and the Federal Inland Revenue service return. So what is an annual return for CAC? It's just a periodic filing that provides updated information about the business to the Corporate Affairs Commission, confirming that the entity is active and compliant with the regulatory requirements. Companies are expected to file these returns, and these returns shows that, look, they are in existence. Filing of annual returns is mandatory for all registered entities under the Companies and Allied Matters Act. It serves several purposes. So what are the importance of annual returns filing? It helps in ensuring compliance with Nigerian law as amended, the ICAN-ngr 2020. There are specific requirements in the ICAN-ngr that said, look, you must file your returns on this, so you are complying with the law by doing that. It also helps in keeping updated records of all entities. Issue of transparency, accountability. You're accountable to the public, especially the PIEs and all other companies. They have to file their returns. Everybody has to file their returns. It helps in maintaining the legal status of your companies. Because if you don't file, after some time, the CAC may delist your company and you are no longer active. It also provides good reputation for the companies that comply when securing loans and foreign direct investment. Most of these entities granting loans also requires to know the existence of your company. So these returns helps in giving you putting you in the good stead before these loan companies. So who should file? We have companies who should file. They are broken down into three aspects. We have companies registered under the private limited liability, public registered under the public limited liability. We have the unlimited companies. You have company limited by guarantees. We also have the business names. So proprietorship, partnership, who has registered a business name, they are also expected to file annual returns with the CAC. Incorporated trustees, which are the non-governmental organizations, the NGOs, various religious organizations, cultural groups, clubs, ETs are also expected to file. But in this aspect, most of the religious organizations, cultural groups, and clubs do not comply. And as such, they've not updated their file at the Corporate Affairs Commission. We see some of them not complying because they don't know that they're expected to comply and file their returns. Even that also applies to some business name registration. Most of them don't file. It is our responsibility as a consultant to guide them that they need for them to file at the Corporate Affairs Commission. So what are the process of filing CAC annual returns? Now, the CAC has now gone digitalized. It's good that we are talking about AI, digital, and all these things in the two first the presentation we have earlier on. So if you are to file as a consultant, the first thing you need to do as a consultant is to register with the CAC. They have to ask, you have to be either a chartered accountant, you have to either be a lawyer or a certified company secretary. So you now become an accredited agent. That is the first step. Then you need to create an account with the CAC by visiting their site. And that's at www.cac.gov.ng. You register for both your incorporation and post-incorporation, whatever you want to do. So you can then log into your account under post-incorporation. You click on the annual, if you want to file the annual returns, because there are various things you need to do, either post-incorporation or pre-incorporation, either things you want to do. So you click on those portals that you want to work on. And you can then, if you are filing your annual returns, you click on annual return filing and you press start. You complete the necessary information that is required stated on that portal, which includes the year of the returns you want to file, the names of the directors, the shareholders' information, and other information listed on that platform. You have to complete all those information. If not, it won't take you to the next line of action. So when you have finished doing that, you can then make payment online. Now, since you've keyed in the year of the returns, it will know whether it is the current year or previous year. If it's previous years, you will subjected to penalty. The system will automatically generate late returns filing fees, which you have to pay. Then you are requested to upload your financial statement or other document that may be requested, and you then click submit. By doing that, your returns is accepted, and the return may be accepted or queried. If all parameters have been filled, it will be accepted. But if there are issues, the CAC will query it. Then you must attend to that query, and then you resubmit. If it's then accepted, the status report will be generated for you. For non-filing risks, you have directors and trustees may be disqualified. Those are one of the risks for not filing them. The regulation may occur after a prolonged default period. Then your business may be marked inactive. So you find out that since everything has gone digitalized now, those who have not been filing their returns, it's either it shows inactive. So if anybody is doing any search on the CAC portal, it will show inactive. That means your company has not done the required things it's expected to do. So except you do that before it changed back to active. So if anybody is making a search on your company and it is showing inactive, then they say that your company is not in existence because you have not fulfilled all parameters. So you need to go to CAC, upload all your documents, pay your necessary fees for whatever you are filing for, and the file becomes active. We want to look at returns to be filed with the FRS. So Federal Revenue Service administers some taxes, such as the company income tax, which also dovetail into tertiary education tax, police trust fund, and National Information Technology Development Levy, NITD, value-added tax, withholding tax, stamp duty, payee return, and etc. Those are returns being filed with the Federal Inland Revenue Company, Federal Inland Revenue Services. Companies are expected to file all these returns depending on the activities they are carrying on, and depending on the sectors they are at. The major one is the three major ones are important: the company income tax, the value-added tax, withholding tax. Stamp duty and other ones come intermittently and all this. Okay, so company income tax returns. Companies are expected within the first within 6 months of their financial year end to submit to the tax office, the Federal Revenue Service, their audited financial statement along with their tax computations. This must be done within 6 months of the company's financial year end. Anything after the 6 months attracts interest and penalty. We have various rates for CIT. It varies from 0, 20 to 30%. And that depends on based on this, the tax reforms. Where turnover is less than 25 million, you have 0%. Between 25 to 100, 25 to 100 million, you have 20%, and above 100 million, you have 30% respectively. Like I said earlier on, the filing document includes the audited financial statement, tax computations, and completion of the online form and payment of tax. You know, the Federal Revenue has also introduced what we call the tax promax, which you have to file all your returns on. The tax promax is system generated. All information has to be keyed there. If you key them properly, it will generate your tax for you based on what you have keyed there. And it will generate your pay ID for you. If you put in your pay ID, it will generate your payment voucher for you to go and pay. And you have to pay within a specific period of time. If not, you have to go back to the system and interest will start to calculate on that particular debit note. So value-added tax. We know value-added tax is a consumption tax paid when goods are purchased and services rendered. Like we know, it's a multi-stage tax. It is borne by the final consumer. So all goods and services produced within or imported into the country are taxable, except those specifically exempted by the VAT Act. So currently, VAT is charged at the rate of 7%, and some goods and services, such as non-oil export, are zero rated. But the most important thing are all taxable persons are required to file VAT. Whether you are exempted or not, you are expected to file a new return if you are exempted. If you are not exempted, you're supposed to file accordingly. And you are expected to file your VAT monthly, not later than 21st day following the month of the transaction. It's a monthly transaction. And in filing that, will be on the tax promax. The tax promax designs systems that you have to file into. You have all your sales document has to be inputted. All your input VAT has to be inputted to generate the VAT liability at the end of the day. Now, the tax promise is going a step further for you now to even take in all necessary documents in respect of your input VAT also need to be present. Currently now, they are still working on that system to ensure that all those things are also filed apart from your sales invoice stuff. So they will be able to capture everything. And in doing that, you are also expected to input the customer TIN number, those who you sold to, those who you purchased from, which deducted VAT from you, so that at the end of the day, you have a net amount that you are going to pay at the end of the day. The reason being why they are doing this is because everybody wants to, they want to capture everybody into the tax net, so that it will now go into the portal of that particular client you are deducting tax from. Now, withholding tax, it's also deducted at source from taxable person under the company's income tax, personal income tax, at capital gains tax, at petroleum public tax in relation to specific transaction. Depending on the transaction, you know, it's a tax deducted at source. We have various rates for those taxes that need to be deducted for goods and services, for fees, royalties, commission, and all these things. They are all subject to various tax rates. And you must also file this on or before the 21st day of the subsequent month. The new Withholding Tax Act 20 introduced various changes. Now, supply of goods has been reduced to 2% from 5%, and also some industries are exempted from withholding tax payment. Those in the rental business and other ones have been exempted from this VAT withholding tax payment. So what are the process of filing returns at FRS? First of all, you need to register your organization with the FRS and obtain a taxpayer identification number, which is called TIN. You need to prepare returns, depending on what you want to file. If it's the annual returns, if it's the VAT returns, if it's withholding tax returns. So for annual returns, you have your audited financial statements. For your VAT returns, you have your sales listed, your input VAT listed, purchases, and all of that supporting documents are listed. Then you log into the portal. That's www.taxpromas.firs.gov.ng using your username, which you have created, and your password. Like I said earlier on, Federal Revenue Service has mandated use of the tax promas portal for filing and payment. There's no other way you want to do it. It is done through that portal. So everything goes into that portal. And you need to register your client in that portal for you to file their returns. Peradventure, you have challenges filing online. You are required to visit the nearest tax office to you to assist you in whatever challenges you have so they can rectify that and for you to file. Now, before you file, you must ensure that all your returns, all your records are ready so you can then upload them accordingly into the tax promise system. And at the end of the day, the tax promise will generate your liability for you. Now, if you upload wrongly, you are bound to get a wrong liability at the end of the day for payment. Also note that if you don't upload, file on time, interest and penalty, their system generated will start calculating on that figure. And whatever it comes out is what you are going to pay at the end of the day. So you need to select the type of tax to be filed and complete all necessary documentation, like I said. You submit all necessary documents by uploading if required. Some are required, some are not required. Like I said, to the VAT something, the input VAT aspect, they are still working on it and it's not. But subsequently, there you will start uploading all documents relating to input VAT. All your tax computation, audited financial statements, everything there needs to be updated, uploaded on the system. Thereafter, you make your necessary payment. Then, if you have made your payments, you click submit and download evidence of filing for record purposes. You need to download so that you know that you have filed appropriately. So let us also look at some of the proposed tax bills that we have 4 reforms. This reform, like we all know, we are all aware of, is being carried out by the Fiscal Committee headed by Mr. Tawo Oyedele, one of us, and it has 4 reforms. We have the Nigerian Tax Bill 2020, the Nigerian Tax Administration Bill 2024, the Nigerian Revenue Service 2024, and the Joint Revenue Board Establishment Bill 2024. From the information we gathered now, I think the House of Rep has approved some of these things and is moving to the next aspect. We just hope that the issue that the bone of contention is the sharing formula for the VAT, which a lot of them are contesting, but at least they have come to an agreement that what is going to be shared based on equality 50%, population is 30%, consumption is 20%. So that is being done. Like from the proposed tax bill, we have the company income tax being reduced in 2 years' time, payment of taxes and royalty in Naira. Those are the things they are proposing. And we are to deduction as source in case of dividends, royalty, directors' fee and payment to entertainment and sport is being proposed there in that bill. There is also to mandate all banks, insurance companies, stockbroking firms, and other financials to give a quarterly report to the revenue tax authority whose transaction exceed 25 million and 100 million for individual and corporate entities. These are the things being proposed, that these returns has to be made quarterly returns to the revenue tax authorities on a quarterly basis if transaction exceeds that range, 25 million and 100 million respectively, for 25 million for individual, 100 million for corporate entities. The Nigerian Revenue Service Bill is the tax authority empowered to collect the taxes due or levies that regulatory agencies like the Nigerian Port Authority, Nigerian Custom, Nigerian Upstream Petroleum Regulation Commission, and Nigerian Maritime. Now we are using everything into one. Instead of these agencies collecting their taxes now, it is now vested in the Nigerian Revenue Service to do that. Also, the tax authority is going to deploy technology to automate tax administration processes for ease of doing business, such as tax assessment, collection and accounting, and information gathering. This is what the tax office will now do more. Now the task force is on. I think they're going to build on that to ensure that all this thing is being properly automated. Deduction of unremitted revenue from MDAs from their budgetary allocation. This is what is being proposed again, that they will deduct a source from their allocation so that they will not, they will also be paying their fair share of the taxes due to them. Like I said, this VAT revenue distribution and derivation reform has changed now because they have the House of Rep is making an amendment to that. Before the amendment, it was 10%, 55, and 35% respectively, equality, population, and derivative. But now this has changed, and then whatever is the new approved at the end of the day will be what they will be sharing their VAT formula. Okay. Then the reform also, the proposed tax bill also talked about a body to be known as the Office of the Tax Ombud. Tax Ombudsman shall be appointed by the President on the recommendation of the Minister of Finance and shall be the Chief Executive Accounting Officer, the Office of the Tax Ombud. Those are the ones who are going to be governing the tax system, tax reform going forward. Also, the current income tax computation, personal income tax computation has been revised also. And if you look at those two, the difference between these two, you'll see some reduction in tax payment by individuals. When you looked at the fiscal commission template that was done, at least you have a margin. When you put your annual income into it, vis-a-vis the current rate and the proposed rate, there is a reduction in tax payment at the end of the day, based on the taxable bracket and based on the rate applied. So there's reduction for individuals who are earning salaries and all this. So it's a good something. So this is something that is sharing, putting more money into the hands of the employees at the end of the day. That's basically all that we have. So the proposed tax reform in Nigeria aims to simplify the tax system, enhance compliance, and generate sustainable revenue. Key measures include exemptions for small businesses with an annual turnover of 50 million or less, reduce company income tax rates, and tax relief for low-income earners. Essential items like food, education, and healthcare will enjoy zero VAT, while rent, public transportations, and renewable energy will be exempted. Businesses will benefit from tax credit for VAT paid on assets and expenses, potentially reducing production costs. So companies should prepare for these changes by staying informed and adapting their filing processes accordingly. Thank you so much for your time. Thank you for listening. Over to you guys in ICAN. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, sir. You can see a lot of thumb up for you. You have really done justice to this topic. A lot of thumb up from our participants to Mr. Femi Jaisimi. So in the Q&A box, I have 4 questions. Our time is fast spent. So I'm going to read out the questions for Mr. Jaisimi to provide the answers. So the first question is from Babalola Oke. She said, what is the withholding tax rate for a media company? What is the WHT rate for a media company? That's the first question. And the second question comes from Efe Udoro. She said, can I register as an agent using my house address? Can I register as an agent using my house address? Then the third question comes from an anonymous participant. Then he said, do we need audited financial statements to file to CAC for a limited liability company? Do we need an audited financial statement to file to CAC for a limited liability company? Then the last question comes from Biola. How do we calculate VAT of a logistic company? How do we calculate the VAT of a logistic company? So those are the 4 questions, sir. So you can just give the answers to the teaming participants. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Balogun. The first question, which is what is the withholding
Tax
tax
rate.
Rate for a media company? Withholding tax, the withholding tax varies depending on the services you are rendering to your client. And your client, you render services to them, they also render services to you. What is withholding tax? Withholding tax is tax deducted at source. And as such, if you have various suppliers who you do business with, and they are supplying to you, the law expects you to withhold from them for services rendered to you. As long as it's not above the counter transaction, you are expected to withhold depending on the type of services they are rendering to you. If it is supplies, initially it's 5%. Now the tax form is saying it's going to be reduced to 2%. Now, if it's professional fees, you're expected to take 5%. If it's director's fee, 10%. Depending on whether it's even a company or an individual. The table of tax rate is there, but withholding tax rate. If you look at Withholding Tax Act 2024, there's a spread table of all these activities that the rate is specified. All these services that the rate is specified. That is the answer. So you don't have a specific one for a media company, but the services you are rendering to them, depending on if you fall into the withholding tax bracket, you're expected to deduct based on the various rates in the table given by the Withholding Tax Act. Now, the second question, can I register as an agent using my house address? As long as you're a professional, you have your certificate, you can register with your address. You can register with your address. What is important is your certificate that you are a member of either you're a chartered accountant, you're a chartered secretary, or you're a lawyer. So you can register with any of your address is to show that where they can locate you. Okay, so you can register with your address then. So the next question, do you need an audited financial statement for a limited? Yes, it's important to. That is the basis of your tax computation. Without the audited account, you can't compute your tax liability. So it is important that you must have an audited account before you can compute your tax liability. If there is no audited account, then on what basis are you computing your tax liability? There must be an audited account for a limited liability in filing. How do you calculate VAT for a logistic company? It depends. It depends on what services you are rendering. Okay? Now, for a logistic company, it is your income that is subjected to VAT. There are some certain costs that you bear on behalf of your client, which are reimbursables, and that is not subjected to VAT. It is that aspect of your own income that you are charging them that is subjected to VAT. I think that answers the question. Mr. Balogun, over to you, sir.
Thank you very much, sir. I would just want you to take one more question that just came in. The question is from Biodun Ipayeda. He said, when supplier demands to be paid in advance, are we safe to assume this is across the counter transaction? When suppliers demand to be paid in advance, are we safe to assume this is across the counter transactions?
Before a customer pays in advance, there must be an agreement. So it's not across the counter transaction. There's an agreement that, look, this is my total supply value. I need this advance. So it's not treated as an across the counter transaction. It is subjected to withholding tax. You have to withhold.
Thank you very much, sir, for the insight. I think we have benefited from the three topics taken today, and I can see a lot of thumb up for the three resource persons. Going by timetable, we have a vote of thanks from no other person than the Vice Chairman of the Employment Facilitation Committee, a member of the Governing Council, Mr. Abiodun Adedeji, FCA. So, Vice Chairman, sir, we need you to give.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Can you hear me very clearly?
We can hear you, sir.
Thank you very much, Mr. Balogun. Thank you. It was this one of the well-organized webinar that in terms of delivery, in terms of coordination, and in terms of sticking to time. Let me first of all thank our assistant president in absentia and the chairman of the employment committee for this opportunity given to me to give the vote of thanks. May I thank our erudite speaker, Mr. Lawrence Amadi, FCA, the head technical risk network from KPMG. Thank you very much for that of your paper. Mr. David Brand, Chairman, Board of Data and IT Faculty, thank you very much. We appreciate you on behalf of over 60,000 members of this institute. And my brother, Mr. Femida FCA, Managing Partner, OJC. Thank you very much. Distinguished members of our great institutes, colleagues, thank you for your time. If you are not here, you cannot be there. If there's nobody to listen, there won't be speaker. So I want to thank you for your time, and I remain your own Biodun Adedeji. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, sir, for thanking all of us. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, we have come to the end of this webinar. I want to promise you that we are going to send the papers to all participants. So to close off the program, we are going to have our technical team playing the ICAN and national anthem. So technical team, please.
I can found a treasure in triumph of faith, standing strong in the morning, building a land together, free from the brothers, we are striving to attain and values that we share through every Institute of Chartered Accountants of Nigeria. We all for his charity. Nigeria, we hail thee, our own dear native land. Though tribe and tongue may differ, in brotherhood we stand. Nigerians old and proud to serve our sovereign motherland.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right, Mr. Balogun and Co. Goodbye. Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Thank you, everyone. Mr. Balogun. Thank you.
Chairman, for the opportunity.
Thank you, our resource persons.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, Chairman, sir. Thank you.
Most grateful. Yeah.
You're welcome, sir. Bye-bye, sir.
Bye.
Yeah. So thank you, the team. It's another successful one. I've told them no more webinars in their presidential year.